Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's a real honor to welcome you all to this panel today. My name is Ioannis Chiotopoulos. I'm a Senior Vice President at DNV, and I'm the Regional Manager of Southeast Europe, Middle East and Africa. And I will be the host and moderator of this panel. Our guests need no introduction, I'm pretty sure about that, but let me do so anyway. I'm sitting here with Ioannis Plakiotakis, Minister of Maritime Affairs and Insular Policy, and Kitack Lim, IMO Secretary General. So far, today, we have already heard a lot about complexity, challenges, and the transformation which lies ahead of us in the maritime industry. That is why I am very eager in listening the insights of our two panelists of how our industry will tackle all the challenges and continue to thrive. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm really looking forward to our discussion. And I will start with a more general question, and then I'll try to go a little bit more to the heart of what we're doing. So, Mr. Secretary General, maybe I can start with you. The motto of this conference is stay calm and sail on. Given the challenges of the last few years, and let me take, for example, climate change, which is affecting the whole of humanity, what needs to be done in order to keep the industry sailing in calm waters, becoming sustainable? Mr. Kim, yes. First question, yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Moderator Ioannis. I'm very delighted to be here before the many distinct participants. And I see a very familiar figure, particularly on the front line. I'm very happy to be here, and also together with Mr. Ioannis. Regarding the question, as you and ourselves have been suffering for the COVID-19 for the almost 3 years, at least 2.5 years. Everybody knows, how we suffered about the shipping practices in line with crew change, vaccination. All issues gave a huge burden to not only member states, particularly to the industry in reality. In that sense, I'd like to express my deepest thanks to industry for the cross cooperation with the government and IMO to help the seafarers in terms of crew change, etc. And also industry representative, ITF, ISET, they work very hard and smartly together with the IMO Secretariat. On top of that, already we are going to see 1 year, 24th of February, after the military situation started February last year. It also gave huge impact, negative impact the global supply chain and the shipping industry. But in the course of that, as we experienced during COVID, there has been a high level of collaboration among shipping industry and member states, and also particularly among littoral countries. One of example under that situation, I would like mention about the Black Sea Grain Initiative, which led by the United Nations, and it has been working very successfully to date, JCC, based in Istanbul. In the course of development of JCC, operation of JCC, IMO, as one member of the United Nations system, we have been providing detailed technical operational advice and support by sending 2 experts from IMO, legal direct and the special advisor to me for the maritime security. So now, at least the grain initiative is working and moving properly. With that, as the moderator mentioned, it is a very philosophical theme, stay calm and sail on, very philosophical. But we have to interpret very widely. But we have to sail further in proper speed, in proper direction. I believe we have to enhance our dialogue toward more collaboration between public and the private sector as well. That can be done through the IMO meeting, but also that can be done through the informal dialogue. In that sense, this kind of event is very, very important. Since we will be faced with the time of July, when we are expected, we have to adopt our initial strategy, revision of initial strategy in July in terms of decarbonization policy. With that in mind, I believe this event organized by the Kitack Lim is extremely important. Thank you, the chairman of the Kitack Lim. And also, we have to work together, other UN systems as well, in order to help human element, particularly help seafarers in the more sustainable shipping through the proper education training for seafarers. And also, at the moment, we have one particular agenda which are relating to the Black Sea situation. Still over 60 ships are stranded in Black Sea, Ukraine port. So we have been working different way to evacuate those ships as soon as possible, but not much progress, but we are putting special effort in order to facilitate evacuate those ships as soon as possible. So I hope a positive outcome would come. So this is a general comment to that question, but I really respect the very philosophical title, Stay Calm, but Sail On. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Plakiotakis, may I have your views as well?
First of all, I would like to thank Bornozis family for their kind invitation to address such a distinguished audience, representing personalities from abroad, from the Greek shipping community. And really, what I would like to state is that also I would like to welcome my friend Kitack to Greece. Over the past 4 years, we have very productive cooperation. For example, in the case of the Russian invasion in Ukraine, we did cooperate in order to form safe sea routes. That was under unprecedented period of time, but we managed it, and we managed to ensure the safety both of the seafarers and the ships. Indeed, we live in challenging times, and in fact, the pandemic and more recently the Russian invasion in Ukraine, they have rescheduled our priorities. After all, shipping is a volatile industry and has always been affected by a wider range of geopolitical environment, but particularly this period, the uncertainties we face are more intense. So we all need to pursue in parallel solutions for a number of acute problems. So the first thing that we need to preserve is the recovery and the sustainable development of shipping and, of course, of all economic activities. What are the main challenges? The main challenges are, of course, decarbonization. Shipping is going through, I would say, the most radical transformation ever happened in shipping over the past 100 years. Digitalization, cybersecurity issues, but last and not least, and to my point of view, the greatest challenge that shipping will face, I've heard Mr. Grimaldi have stated already this, that the shortage of qualified professionals will be the greatest challenge that shipping will face in the near future. So in order to stay calm we politicians, of course, need to stay calm, but at the same time, we need to cooperate both at the level of IMO and, of course, at the multilateral and unilateral level in order to find the, I would say, the global uniform rules, because after all, shipping is an international activity. Therefore, it requires global rules and regulations. So, working together in line with IMO, with all the authorities, both international and nationally, I think we can achieve the best suitable solution in order mostly to preserve the competitiveness of the sector.
Thank you, Yannis, for that. That was very interesting views from both of you, gentlemen. Let me go now to the next question, which is more close to the heart of the major stakeholders of this industry here in Greece. And I'm talking about the ship owners. With so much uncertainty in shipping, especially around new fuels, tightening regulations, higher bunker prices, and the drive to digitalization, the industry, especially owners, are being asked to make big changes and take on more risk than ever. How can we incentivize investment in new technologies without the danger that these investments will result in stranded assets? And may I start this time from you, Yannis? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Yes, of course, decarbonization is one of the major challenges that shipping will face. Greece, I would say, is an advocate for adaptation and application of global uniform rules. And what I would like firstly to state is that we fully support the effective implementation of the IMO's initial strategy to reduce greenhouse gas emission from ships, and we actively participate in the revision of the strategy and the development of long and medium-term measures in order to lead to carbon neutral shipping. Many times I've stressed my views, and I've stated that in order to fulfill the goals of decarbonization, we need to develop and ensure the worldwide availability of zero and low carbon fuels. What we must admit is that we're far away from reaching this stage, because neither the alternative fuels are not yet on track, neither the technology that is needed for the alternative fuels. At the same time, also, we must work in a more coordinated manner, both at the level of the private stakeholders and on the public stakeholders. And also we have to work at all levels, sea, ports, technology, production, and also at the level of the policy. And it's very crucial to pass from the current uncertainty to a more predictable future that can guide our future investment. So the message I would like to pass is that we need to elaborate even more our cooperation between the private and the public stakeholders at all levels.
Thank you, Yannis. Mr. General Secretary, can I have your views on that? Thank you.
Thank you, Moderator Ioannis. First of all, I'd like to align with the progress of the decarbonization policy being developed by IMO and member states and the industry. I'd like to express my deepest thanks to all member states and industry. Also, member state, developed country has been doing actively, and also developing country has been doing actively to support, to join. When it comes to the efforts of the shipping industry, myself, started from one of a sailor from Republic of Korea, and until now, I'm handling maritime shipping issues. When it comes to decarbonization progress to date, I would like to highly commend effort and sweat and work done by the shipping industry. I wouldn't add more than that one. So you deserve, shipping community, industry deserve my highest commendation. It was not easy. Has been different kind of the major has been taking place, including IMO 2020 and the digitalization, automation, and development of the EEDI, EEXI, CII, all policy technical measure has been developed, but it has been giving, to be honest, a high level of burden to industry. But the shipping industry try to observe, try to support policy developed the IMO, while actively participating discussion in this regard. That's why I really appreciate these efforts of the shipping industry on the development process of decarbonization policy. But now, I have to say, as you know, as you are holding this conference, we adopted the initial strategy in April 2018. That was a very ambitious decision to adopt, thanks to support to you. In that initial strategy, there is one part stipulating this initial strategy revised 2023 toward taking into consideration toward 2050 in terms of decarbonization. So this July, MEPC 80 meeting at IMO. This is the final stage when we have to adopt our initial strategy, revised strategy, with upgraded level of ambition, vision, and a certain midterm measure as well. So extremely important. So we don't have much time, already February, only few months before July meeting. Only official meeting will take place end of March. This is the International Working Group meeting on the decarbonization. So already there will be some discussion policy issues. Based on that one, final decision discussion will be made in July. That's why extremely important time. That's why I really seek your continuous support and sweating for this process. With that in mind, I have to add one again. I was thinking myself, what is the meaning of the climate change? It has been a long time to discuss the progress, including 2015 adoption of a Paris Agreement. I would say decarbonization policy is the way path which we have never taken, we have never experienced, not only in our time, in the lifetime of our previous generation. This is totally new path, new way, new journey we are taking. So I thought to myself, what is the nature of decarbonization? I compared how we raise our children. When we raise up our children, we invest for the education, we make our dream for our children, for the future. We do not have a specific, accurate, decisive information for our children, for their future. But we have a vision. We make a vision dream for our children, anticipating our children become a very nice, contributing to the world, to the community, to the country, asset to the whole community or society and to the country. Similarly, decarbonization is a journey we have never done, we have never taken. That's why we need the ambition. We need a vision, ambition, and a certain policy measure. So in this regard, I really appreciate your active participation in this process. I believe shipping community among whole sector of industry, one of the most respectable industry who are working actively toward the decarbonization, no doubt. So I'm very, very proud of the shipping industry and have been working very closely with the member state as well. To that the element of the uncertainty, I would say what IMO should do, most important element, IMO should develop regulation policy as soon as possible in order to give a certainty, not only member state, certainly to the industry. Why? To help industry make a plan, future investment plan, how to run, how to operate their shipping fleet. So IMO should develop a clear picture, vision, level of ambition, and the direction of the major. In that sense, IMO has been doing very well. Following the initial strategy adopted in 2018, IMO adopted the short-term measure, the autumn 2021, which entered into force in November last year. It is a very dramatic and a milestone short-term measure. We have to develop a mid-term measure, including market-based measure, etc. However, short-term measure crucial, but it may have some shortcoming. It may have a shortcoming, as we discussed this morning, CII issues. But that shortcoming is being addressed at IMO to adjust, to help industry to implement as the end user more properly. So with that in mind, I believe, member state and industry continue work together. But I would like to highlight again, before the July, when we adopt our revised strategy, but we don't have much time. So IMO side, myself, Secretariat, and the member state will work harder to make progress as expected. So thank you for your hard work and effort, and your discussion this conference will be very closely heard by the IMO member state and the Secretary as well. I will do my best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lim. I personally have been very much touched from the metaphor you gave about the decarbonization journey being similar to the journey of raising a family. And I think this is something that the people today may take with them and reflect on that. So thank you very much on that. Now going to something that Mrs. Travlou also mentioned just before in her speech. And I think this is something which is in the core of what we do every day in Maritime. The whole industry rests on the ability to transport cargo and people safely. How do we ensure that safety isn't overlooked in this time of massive and rapid transformation? And can I start with you, Mr. Lim, again? Thank you.
Thank you, Ioannis. This is relevant to the safety of shipping. I'd like to mention, we talk a lot about environment issues, ballast equipment, IMO 2020, and then the climate change issues, now talking about the ship's noise issues, many environment issues. But however, safety of shipping is a paramount important, fundamental of ship's operation. That's why we have to continue to pay attention to the safety of shipping. I would say in two ways. One is the safety of operation, navigation. Second one, how to ensure ship is equipped with the proper equipment. So safe operation very much related to the human element. Human element very much related to the seafarers. How we raise seafarers' morale, how we raise seafarers' qualification, competencies by training and education. So IMO adopted the human element as an independent, separate strategy direction already a few years ago, 4 years ago. So we are developing different kind of a strategy how to promote the human element to help seafarers. As we know, seafarers suffered a lot during a few years. How to raise their welfare like condition and the morale, motivation, etc. So extremely important. But equipment size, already we are developing typical regulation to ensure safety level of ship's operation by means of providing better equipment to the ship. But this time I'd like to mention why we are talking about a lot about the climate change. We're talking about a lot about energy issues. But we talk new alternative energy, ammonia, hydrogen, methanol, ethanol, etc. How these energies affect to our seafarers' daily life. In order to train our seafarers more properly, we have to provide and certain expertise and more proper like a mechanism scheme to train the seafarers. In this sense, as far as I know, there is certain development. While MEPC at IMO deal with the environment, climate change issues, fuel issues, etc. But at the same time, we are hoping IMO Maritime Safety Committee and the Environment Protection Committee, both sides, set up a joint working group to consider safety aspect of energy, safety aspect of ship's operation. So with that, we will have a better position to handle safety issues. So, and also I'd like to mention that at this moment, IMO is started to review our ISM code as well. ISM code is extremely important, relevant to the human element, and then also overall consideration of the STCW Convention, how STCW Convention would adapt more properly to change of technology, change of environment. This is what I'd like to mention. In the course of that, we are maintaining good communication with the industry, who are very much closely engaged in the human element. We call it HEIG, Human Element Industry Group. So we will have a continuous communication with the industry so that we can have a better regulation, better policy. At the moment, I'd like to mention, in order to help seafarers and all operations, safe operation, we are also strengthening our technical cooperation program to help a member state, also help industry. That's why we will do our best to help to look up the safety aspects of the shipping operation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Plakiotakis. We have your views as well. Thank you.
It's true, over the past decades we have witnessed considerable progress on shipping safety, and to what the data of Lloyd's List and DFV has shown us is that the number of vessel casualty has declined, while at the same time the size of the global fleet has grown. So actually what is the main issue here is that we have to incorporate all the new issues such as the decarbonization, digitalization, for example, the usage of new alternative use of the new digital technology might cause major issues, so safety should not, it cannot be overlooked. So at the same time, we have to incorporate all all these new changes, all the new challenges in shipping, but at the same time, particularly at the level of IMO, we must develop standards that can ensure the safety and of shipping and, of course, the seafarers. So, more or less, we have to keep an eye on safety, but at the same time, of course, we have to incorporate all these new challenges, such as the digitalization, the new alternative fuels, the cybersecurity issues, but we have to be ready, and we need to cooperate, as already the General Secretary has already stated.
Thank you, Mr. Plakiotakis. Exciting news from both of you, gentlemen. Nicholas, we have already exceeded our time, but maybe you can allow me to address one last question to Mr. Lim. And this is only for you, Mr. Lim, this time. So, sadly, you will step down at the end of the year as IMO Secretary General. And my question is, what is close to your heart? What will you take with you after these 8 very successful years? What is your legacy, Mr. Lim?
Thank you very much. So I have some 10 months to go before I retire from IMO. But always I remember I am working as a delegate. Here, our former Secretary Emeritus, Mr. Chiotopoulos. Mr. Chiotopoulos has been a legendary delegate, legendary safety director, legendary Secretary General. I learned a lot from him, not only safety and how to participate in a diplomatic meeting. So really appreciate. I'd like to express my deep thanks to you at this moment. And I started 2016, a huge turmoil regarding ballast water equipment management issues. That January 2016 is approaching peak time of a controversial situation. But thanks to support, understanding of industry, it turned out to be eventually settled down. But it is, I know, it is become more the reliable solution to be implemented. But thank you for the kind understanding from industry for ballast water equipment issues. And then followed by the IMO 2020. It was huge issues, low sulfur issues. Many worried about that, including my friend, Minister. Very, very much concerned about the IMO 2020. But thanks to your support and the industry and the member state, it turned out to be very successful in terms of implementation. But we experience IMO 2020, it's a chicken egg game. Shipping company, bunkering service, oil industry, shipyard, including scrap issues as well. Chicken egg game. But we have high-level collaboration. So, thankfully, relatively, it has been very successful. And then I have to mention about the progress of decarbonization. As I mentioned, we adopted the Initial Strategy 2018. That was a dramatic decision, and followed by adoption of a short-term measure, autumn 2021, which entered into force recently. There is very important progress, but there is a lot more to go in the future. And then I would say certain big progress in the Gulf of Guinea in terms of security piracy issues, thanks to the all support of industry, member states, particularly littoral countries, Nigeria and the others, and particularly strong support, the EU, NAPO. Now, security in the Gulf of Guinea much better. And the Gulf of Aden still continue to be under control. So my former the Secretary General Chiotopoulos did a lot to resolve that issues, but the Gulf of Aden is still under control. But we have to continue the monitor situation. On top of that, I have to mention when IMO has a meeting, particularly with respect to the certain contentious issues, sharp, high confrontation between developed country and the developing country. How narrow down, how build up like a common understanding, it's very crucial. In line with that, we are implementing technical cooperation program to help our member state. So we developed, established the special separate department for project and partnership. When it was established 2 years ago, running fund was $25 million, but recently the running size of a running budget exceeded $100 million. It's going up thanks to the industry and the member states as well. So this is what we need to continuously promote, that one. And then there has been a lot of safety-related issues, digitalization, automation, and also the education of seafarers issues. So those are the achievement by IMO in line with the safety management of shipping. But I really appreciate all member states and all the industry as well for the strong support. So I will continue my effort until I leave the IMO in December to see certain important progress as expected, as promised by the member state and industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.